Ahoy hoy folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. I am very excited today because we are returning to our Grogu doll makeover. So if you haven't seen the first video, go and check that out. This is going to be a whole playlist because it's going to take multiple videos to get this done. But last time we repainted the entire head. Today we need to do the same with the hands, but we also need to make feet. So I have a big hunk of polymer clay here and some other sculpting materials. So first things first, we need to, I need to condition the clay. I've now actually bought myself a pasta maker so I can condition it without ruining my hands. So I'm going to condition a bunch of clay and then we're going to get to sculpting the feet. So I will turn the camera around and show you exactly what it is we're up to today. Welcome back to Messy Desk. Yes, this is becoming my life in the office, unfortunately. As you can see, the paint job on the head has dried beautifully. It is absolutely gorgeous, done really, really nicely. So this part, for now at least, there are a few more bits that we need to do, can go to the side, because whilst the head is looking gorgeous, the hands, not so much. These are, they are lacking. I kind of want to, you know, with the tiny hands. I wish I had a sleeve. But yes, I need to repaint these, but first we need to make some feet. So to do that, I have got some tin foil, aluminium foil, aluminum foil, whatever you want to call it. I've got polymer clay, I've got a whole bunch of sculpting tools, wires, all sorts. So I did just say I have a pasta maker. I managed to pick one up for £1 from a charity shop, which is like Goodwill. And it was absolutely disgusting, like just horrendous. It was full of just dust and crud and moth eggs and God knows what else. So I have given it the most thorough clean I could, and what I'm going to do now is just spend some time, because this clay is quite hard, and to get this workable I would have to knead this for quite a while, and then my thumbs are completely knackered and the last thing I want to do is actually be sculpting, so this can save me a lot of time. I've got all of this over here as well, so I'm going to condition a bunch of clay first, then I think we'll use the foil, make the base for the feet, cover them in clay, do a bit of detailing and texturing, and then that should be good to go. This should be a fairly simple operation to make these feet. I need to get a scale as well. Yeah, I'll have a look at what size the feet should be as well. But first things first, let me go and condition all the clay, and then I will be back and we can start actually sculpting this together. Once we've done that and we baked it, baking again is very quick. So I will come back, we'll paint everything, we'll paint the feet so that they are the same colour as this, so that when we use the other colours on top, we're getting the same consistent tone all the way through. That's the plan anyway. Right, I'll be back in a few. There we go. Now that we have our slabs of flesh, we can start getting on to making the armature for the feet. So that pasta maker that I have, yeah, it works, but I think it needs some repairs to it. I think there's definitely a reason it was in the charity shop so cheap. So for the feet, I've done a little bit of research, and the feet are actually about the same size as the hands and have almost the same layout as well. So it's 3 toes, though you also have a kind of gripper toe at the back as well. So I think what I'm going to do is first use some of this wire. So this is very, excuse the motorbike going past. This is very thin armature wire. I think I'm going to kind of measure out the size that I need. So I think that's probably about right. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, let me figure out what I'm going to do with this, and I'll be back in just a second. There we go, 2 little feet armatures made just of wire for now, but you can see they're just a little bit bigger than the hands, and actually when I cover them in foil they'll be a little bit bigger again. I've also made little hooks on the top here, so this is the back toe, this is the actual leg coming up, and then that little hook there is so that I can hang it in the oven when it's baking so that we don't get any flat bits or anything like that. So now comes quite a fun part. We need to cover it all, rustle, in aluminium foil. So it's just a case of ripping a bit off and wrapping this all up as tightly as possible and building up the layers. And I think this really, when it comes to polymer clay sculpting, this is where I spend most of the time, is actually building up with the foil, because the clay essentially is just a skin on top of whatever you're putting underneath, and you can see already that's starting to come together, that's starting to have a bit of bulk. In fact, I think that back toe is almost completely done. A good tip for polymer clay as well, when you're using foil, you can go over with a tool like this and really squish it down and smooth it out, burnish it out, really get it nice and smooth. And then when we attach the clay, we're going to be using a little bit of liquid sculpting, which acts like a glue. So I'm going to cover the rest of these in, well, both of these in foil, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Yeah, we've got our feet all covered in foil now. So now, as disgusting as it sounds, it's time to skin them. So what I'm going to do is, I think, first of all, get the bottoms of the feet done. I think the easiest way is going to be to lay this on like this with a bit of the liquid Sculpey to make sure it sticks nicely, and then literally start wrapping it over, and you can see actually that's going to cover quite a lot of the foot already. So I think we'll hop into a time lapse for one of these to get this all fully covered, and yeah, fingers crossed this goes well. Okay, there we go. So we've got feet a little bit bigger than the hands. One thing we still need to do are the nails on the end. So you can see here, his nails are just little ovals. So I think I'm just going to cut those out of here and stick them on the ends. We also need one on the back feet as well. Let's do a little bit of kind of detail work. So we've got the joints on the bottom of the toes. I'm just going to press these in, smooth them out, and then I'll do the same at the back and kind of across the feet as well. It doesn't really need anything on top, because as you can see it's fairly smooth on the hands, so it doesn't need a huge amount. I think I'll put one across here. But as you can see from the hands, because the hands are fairly smooth, the feet are going to be fairly similar, so it's minimal details here. So let's just get that. It just gives it a little bit more realism. Smooth this out. I'm thinking about how I want them posed. I think I do want them fairly flat, because he's going to be standing most of the time and it's going to be what he stands on. I'm just going to round the edges a little bit just to make it a little bit less flat. Maybe I can bend some of the toes a little bit. There we are. But yeah, I think we're almost ready to bake. So I'm just going to add those couple of little bits. I'll add the toenails just with some little ovals of clay onto here, and then we will bake. So I'll come back once we are fully baked and cooled down, and we'll start with painting. Okay, so fresh out of the oven. These are nice and cool and dry and all ready to be painted. So, paint. I have a mixed up palette over here, which is just some of this bright yellow green with a touch of white and just the smallest dot of cerulean blue. And I think you'll agree it's a pretty close shade. It will dry a little bit darker as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. That is going to be our base coat, and all I'm going to do is just grab a brush and give this all a good coat. I'm then going to go over the nails. So the nails are a raw sienna with a bit of white in there. I'm doing exactly the same. And I'm going to go pretty liberal with this. I want to make sure it is fully coated. So a few coats might be in order. But yeah, this is going to be me for a while, just singing along to Spotify and painting this. So I will be back when this is all done and finished, and I've got the nails painted in too. Okay, there we go. Feet are painted, toenails painted as well. So there is a slight colour difference because this is a little bit cooler, this is a little bit warmer. This is also not quite fully dry yet, but that's absolutely fine because you can see I've got the paints that I used last time, which are now very dry, but luckily I kept everything separate. So now applying those paints to both of these will bring the colours much closer together, and there'll be much less difference between the two colours. You've already seen me go through the whole of the head and do the painting there. This is going to be exactly the same thing. So I'm going to do a wash with let me try and find it here, with the bright aqua green. That will bring the tone closer to what we need it to be. Then I'll detail in with a few other colours and maybe add a little bit of blush to fingertips and toes. We'll see. I'm not sure it's going to be exactly necessary. But if you want to see in detail how that's all done, then go ahead and check part 1 where we painted the head. I will come back to you when these are all painted, and hopefully the colours will be a little bit closer together. Okay, there we are, and we're just about finished for today. So, hands are painted, feet are painted, head is painted. This all really needs to dry, and the feet I might give just a little bit more colour to, just because I want to match as much as possible. So next time, join me next time as we start making the skeleton, and I will give you a little sneak peek. If I can find one over here, but there we go. Little sneak peek. That's it. That's all you're getting. But yeah, next time we're going to be making a completely articulated skeleton for Grogu and filling it out with fibre fill. Oh, and then we've just got sewing to do after that, and then final details. It's coming together. It feels like lots of little bits at the moment, but I promise you, a bulk of the work is now done, and it's all kind of bitty bits to do now. Anyway, as always, I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.